This is the MDRT podcast. Whether or not your staff is used to working from home, practices everywhere are dealing with a new and challenging environment. During a recent Zoom call, MDRT members
David Appel, Newton, Massachusetts.
Julianne Hertel from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Dick Dobson from Cedar Falls, Iowa.
talked about getting on the same page with team members about necessary adjustments and leading by example.
I told my staff right away, I said, hey, if you want to work from home, just let me know. I'm not going to require you to come into the office. But they're all still here. So I think they appreciated me saying that. But I think they also wanted to adhere to a schedule, and everyone that's advising folks on the quarantine say, yeah, get up and take your shower and get ready, just like you were going to work. It helps keep you in that schedule. And if you tend to make calls during certain periods of the day, make those calls. Certainly the people you're calling will be glad to hear from you. People are at home and they're looking for things to do. So why not contemplate a little bit of planning into the process as well?
I have a small staff, and one of the biggest things that I've always been an advocate of is being flexible. And so now I know that my assistant Bianca is at home trying to homeschool a 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 9-year-old and handle work and run her family while her husband's also working from home and so forth. And so flexibility is like number one. So the biggest thing I stressed was if you could at least just stay on top of the phones during business hours, that would be great. And we don't get, there hasn't been a tremendous amount of phone calls or anything like that, but just staying on top of the phones during business hours. And then we're all working at somewhat of a different capacity than we were 3 weeks ago. A lot of that stuff can happen outside of normal business hours when you're able to piece your schedule together. So I think flexibility is key. And then having apps and a phone system and everything that's driven on a cloud versus wired into the office has been extremely beneficial.
I have a small staff too. I have 3 people that work for me in Maryland, and I have 3 people up here in Boston. My business development guy never came to the office, so he was always remote to begin with. And my other 2 staff members had been working 1 and 2 days a week from home as it was too. So they're kind of set up with their printers, the same phone system I have in the office. They have the actual phones in their homes, the actual the card wired into the Wi-Fi phones for the most part. And I have set up an office in Maine at my main house where I was last week with my kids with my phone system and printer and stuff there. So everybody can function well. I think that's one of the positive that's going to come out of this. I think especially seeing with some of my clients where all these staff are always like, we need to be in the office. You need to have everybody here. You need to, and they're going to kind of realize wait a minute, maybe you don't. It is a lot more efficient time-wise when you can do some of this stuff versus running around in the car all the time.
Were there any concerns or questions staff members brought up that caught you off guard?
I think overall it was reasonably smooth. I was kind of surprised by my main office manager that she was definitely like, yeah, I'm not comfortable coming to the building. I mean, listen, I have no issue with it. And I know that she can function perfectly fine at home. I was just a little bit surprised by that. Unlike Dick's staff who stayed.
Yeah, I can't keep him out of here.
But other than that, I mean, there's been no surprises, I don't think, that I've seen yet. Everybody, because the people in Maryland are on a full lockdown too, so they're not in their quote unquote office. They're all working from home as well. But so far it's been all smooth. So I haven't seen a bump yet.
I had recommended to work from home before we went into the shutdown earlier this week, but I think my staff had to see me do it first before they felt comfortable saying, oh, okay, I really can work from home, and being more confident that I was okay with the flexibility and so forth.
That's the end of this month's episode. If you'd like to subscribe, you can find us on SoundCloud and Spotify at MDRT Podcast. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.